What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I am finally going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions for this Beyoncé and Jay-Z album called Everything Is Love. This one just kind of got pushed to the back burner because I had so many requests, and then we got the Drake double disc and all kinds of other stuff dropping, but I'm finally getting to this one, so bear with me because these notes are old as hell. Definitely going to have to be looking over here to make sure I'm on track. Now, together, Beyoncé and Jay-Z are calling themselves the Carters. Obviously, that's their last name, as they are married. So this is where you're going to find it on Spotify. You got to look up the Carters, and that's where it is. Or if you actually use Tidal, you can go on there. But one of the things I found about this record is that it kind of felt like part 3 to the trilogy they have going on. We know Beyoncé had Lemonade, and then Jay-Z had 444, which I think is some of his best work. And this one follows that up because it does get very personal and really shows you what's going on with them as a couple and just some of the things that they've been through. That actually kind of surprised me because the single Ape Shit was just this 808 heavy banger where Beyoncé was working some Migos style flows. You even get some Migos ad-libs on this thing as well. And she's coming with those trap flows about getting vitamin D and riding dicks. She's just all about the dicks on this song. That's what Beyoncé was doing. Now, Jay-Z, on the other hand, he comes through with a boss verse where he's just bragging about not needing the Super Bowl because they're selling out on their own anyway, and he also doesn't give a fuck about going 0 for 8 at the Grammys because he gets the crowd going ape shit. This track does sort of have that generic mainstream trappy sound to it, so it's not really anything that's overly unique or creative, but I thought the production on this was really dope, man. It's just an all-out slapper, and it really is just a fun track for what it is. And one thing I can say is that as you listen through to this project, it really does become clear that it's Jay-Z and Beyoncé against the world. They are both on their boss shit. There is a lot of bragging on here that I think can get kind of old to people depending on how you feel about that. But even still, I think there was a nice balance. Now, on the song Nice, Beyoncé makes it clear that she doesn't give a fuck about streaming because if she did, she would have had Lemonade on Spotify. And she has a line on here where she says, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you, I'm out. This is a reference to Half Baked when Scarface gets fired from working at that burger joint, and that is one of my favorite movies of all time, so I definitely appreciate what she was doing with that one. Jay-Z has a solid verse on this as well. He actually reminded me of that classic Jigga from like the late 90s where he would be bouncing over these, sort of glitzy beats just like this one is, because this is produced by Pharrell, who came through with that quintessential Neptune sound. Really one of my favorite tracks on here overall, and I'd have to throw Boss up there as well. This song obviously backs up what I just said about them being bosses. I love the blend of vocals on this as well as the horns, and I can't be mad at Beyoncé for the bar where she says, my great-great-grandchildren already rich, that's a lot of brown children on your Forbes list. How can I be mad at that, man? I gotta appreciate the black excellence. I know a lot of people don't like when they're bragging and then you get into the topic of capitalism and blah, 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 blah. But hey, man, they're setting their family up. They're having kids. They're doing very well for themselves. I'm not gonna be mad at them for doing that. And I just thought that was a good way to speak on amassing generational wealth and taking care of your people. It's what you gotta do, man. That's what it's all about. But what a lot of people are talking about on here is how Jay-Z is just taking shots at the fake bosses. He has a line where he says, over here we measure success by how many people successful next to you. Here we say you broke if everybody gets broke except for you. I just thought this was a dope line because if you're making a lot of money, again, like I just said, you got to take care of your damn people, man. If you're just making money and everyone else around you isn't doing too well, then how rich are you really? Because that's what it's all about, man. I'm a firm believer in that, you know what I mean? I got a family myself, so I understand what he's trying to say there. A lot of people thought that some of these bars might have also been aimed at Drake. There are a lot of issues with Drake and with Kanye when it comes to Jay-Z. So as you listen through, I think there are a lot of little lines here and there that you might be seeing as shots at these guys, including on the song Friends, where Jay-Z seems to reference how he and Beyoncé skipped out on Kanye and Kim's wedding because they had some issues and he had to deal with that. He just put that ahead of it. So he's kind of saying, you know what, if you can't understand me taking care of my wife and my family, I had to miss something that you had going on. If you don't understand that, then maybe we're not friends. This track actually has sort of a hazy instrumental on it, but it was one of my least favorites, so didn't care for that one too much. But even still, they're just going in about being a power couple on this track and on much of this album. Even on the outro track, Love Happy, they're working some very nice back and forth flows as they rap about some of the different issues they've had and how they overcame them. And you are getting a great beat here with heavy drums and sample work. This one's also kind of funny because Beyonce's making fun of Jay for how he did fuck up and he had to get a new ring. Also about how she wanted to kill the girl that Jay-Z got with. They're just little tidbits all over this that I really appreciate. So, these little things do go a long way for me, including on the song 713. Again, they are touching on their love story a bit, and this one is just an all-out trunk slapper. Love this beat a lot. And here you're getting lyrical references to Common's song The Light, as well as an interpolation of Dr. Dre's hook from Still D.R.E., and we even get an Umi Says reference on the song Black Effect. These little hip-hop Easter eggs throughout are things that I think people will appreciate if you recognize them. If not, obviously you're not really going to care. But when you hear those little things, it's just kind of cool, man. It's a nice little throwback. Now, since I did mention Black Effect, it has one of the best beats on here. I love the blend of 808s and soul samples, and I also appreciate the black empowerment bars. You got Beyoncé on here repping for juicy hips and lips, and Jay-Z's talking about his afro while also talking some shit down to the culture vultures who want to be down, but they really ain't. There's just a lot of great things happening with this project, so, I think it's pretty solid overall. I would go with a 3.5 out of 5 here and not a 4 or higher because it's not quite as deep and poignant as Lemonade and 444, but I think the production did a lot of work here. I really like a lot of the beats here. There are some flows that get a little bit off at times, like I didn't think Jay-Z was at his best on the song Summer. I also thought Heard About Us was one of the weaker tracks because it's just this poppy R&B affair. So I'm not saying this is something that's going to make my year-end list by any means, but there are definitely some moments here that I like, man. You get some good verses, some great beats, some fun tracks, some little hip-hop Easter eggs, as I mentioned, as well as glimpses into their personal life. So I think that feels pretty fair to me, 3.5 out of 5. But you guys can let me know what you think. This review was a long-ass time coming, so, it might have been kind of sloppy. Like I said, these notes have been sitting around for a while, so, I'm just trying to catch up with myself. But let me know what you think either way, and make sure you hit me up on all my social media sites. You know where I'm at, so show me love and show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.